I made a video yesterday about how I get the car up in the air to work on it. You know, then I forgot to add this. I forgot to talk about my crossbeam, my low profile floor jack and the crossbeam adapter and the jack stands and everything. I got busy doing something else. I thought I would just go ahead and add this in. Make sure when you get underneath the car though, you've got it all. Wheel chucked. Safety first. Safety first. To work on it, I rebuilt all the. I did all the exhaust work myself, and I rebuilt the half shafts, all the U joints, and the differential U joint. And originally, what happened? I was jacking up one side at the jacking point. I would have to come around the other side, jack that up a little bit. I would be going back and forth and back and forth. Then I went down to I started looking into these crossbeam adapters for a floor jack, and so I went ahead and purchased one from Harbor Freight. This is the 3-ton. This is a 3-ton low profile floor jack. You know, it's got the crossbeam. I put the crossbeam adapter on there. The problem is on the front it works okay. You can move these in and out, but they still, when you raise it up, you would be on the differential carrier. You would just be on this one beam. I suppose it would work probably. It does lift it up. I don't like that. I didn't like that. So what I did was right here on the channel iron of the, lower this, on the channel iron of the floor, on the channel iron of the floor jack, I just put a couple of 4x4 pieces of wood so that I could straddle the exhaust. So it straddles the exhaust. You can get the whole, you can get the rear of the car off the ground. This works for me. If you take the tire carrier out and the spare tire, you have lots of room back here. You can work on the exhaust, the differentials, the half shafts, leaf springs. But once you get it jacked up to where you feel comfortable getting underneath, you can work on it. You can just take these floor jacks and you can set them under there. But anyway, this is what I do. I put the jack stands underneath the jacking points on both sides of the car. It's an emergency. It's just an emergency situation. I didn't want to take this apart because I'm working with it right now. But the problem is once you get your floor jack, you know, the crossbeam, of course, adapter would not be on there. But once you get the floor jack up to the point where you put your jacking point, the problem is you run into is you can't get your jack stands because the floor jack's in the way. You can take it over and you can put the floor jack on the differential carrier. Once you get your cross beam up in the air and your car up in the air, you can just take your jack stands, put them on either side of it. And you got you're safe. And again, you know, it all depends on what you're working on, you know, the cross beam and everything. And the jack stands can get in the way sometimes, you know, it all depends on what you're working on. You know, so far I haven't had them running any problems. I've had this for about a year now. And it's worked out pretty good for me. After I get the car jacked up in the air with the cross beam, I put the jack stands underneath the cross beam like this. So that's basically the setup. And I keep the ramps under there. I keep everything as it is. Once I take the spare tire carrier and the carrier off and the tires off, you have all kinds of room back here to work. Yeah, I also wanted to show you, I like this floor jack. It's really easy to use, and it lets the car down real easy. I mean, you don't have to. This is just the way I set it up. You know, what I'd like to do is get a couple of big, I don't know whether I'm going to get I-beams or make an I-beam for the center, or two pieces of very thick rubber